Hi, my name is Doris and this is Heart of Stitches. This is episode number 12. I am in Connecticut. I got home on Wednesday and today is Friday. I am leaving on Sunday, so I'm only here for a few days. We had Thanksgiving with my son and his girlfriend, so it was my ex-husband, myself, my son and his girlfriend last night. So we had turkey, stuffing. Technically, I make dressing. I do not stuff the bird. And it was delicious. So I spent all day yesterday cooking. I didn't get a lot of knitting done. But it was so nice to see my son, and I wanted to bring him his Advent, which he's coming over another day, so he'll get it then. I didn't give it to him last night. I brought him his Advent. I hadn't wrapped everything yet. I always think I'm going to get so much more done than I did. So his stuff came unwrapped, and I had one casualty. So he was going to get, I don't know which day, but this Japanese like ramen bowl or sushi bowl. I'm not exactly sure what you're supposed to. It's sort of small for soup, but it's, anyway, it broke in transit. So I got him a substitute thing at the grocery store. So he's sort of getting the jip on this. It's this nice little bowl. It has a pig in it. It was a set of 3. So the other 2 are getting a rabbit and a monkey. So I think it's the Lunar New Year, motifs. But I was thinking, and I'm not sure how to do it. And I don't know the name of it either, but there's some Japanese technique of fixing porcelain where you put gold in it. So I'm going to try to do this. So I was telling my son last night, since he's not getting it, it was no problem telling him what he was going to get. And we talked about it, and he was very interested in it. So I think he's looking forward to getting the bowl. I didn't show him the bowl. I just told him about it. And I'm going to try to do that. A layman's version of whatever that's called to fix porcelain. In my luggage, there's probably still this one little piece. I don't want to spend a ton of money, but a little bit of gold leaf and some, whatever you fix this with. I'm not going to buy a kiln or anything like that, but I am going to try to fix this pretty little bowl and give it to him next year. I'll stop making that noise. Sorry about that. But yeah, one casualty. Everything else, I had to check my luggage because one of the items that is in the Advent is from Buc-ee's, which I love. It's for anybody that's not from the U.S., it's a rest stop on the highway. I think it goes from Texas across to Florida and then up as far as the Carolinas, maybe. And when you're driving for so long and you hit a Buc-ee's, it has everything. You could buy gifts. You could buy dinner. They have a really clean, nice bathroom. And it's just such a welcome stop to stop there. And so I had bought some barbecue sauce from Buc-ee's. So I had to check my baggage because I couldn't bring barbecue sauce on a plane. And the pig bowl got it in the kisser and didn't make the flight. So that's that. I have 2 finished objects I'm going to show you that were from before that I didn't make them in the last week. I'm wearing my DRK Everyday Cowl. I wore it in episode 11, which is super short. It's less than 10 minutes long. With a summer blouse. It looked sort of ridiculous, but it's cold here. So this is the only knitted item that I have to wear, and it looks nice with this purple sweater. This sweater has got to be 15 or 20 years old. So, I'm happy to make use of it. And it's warmer. Underneath I have a sort of a V-neck on. So this is keeping my neck nice and warm. I brought 4 whips with me to Connecticut for 5 days. 5 days, 4 whips. I don't, I thought I was going to run out of knitting or something. And I have projects here I could work on. So I don't know why I brought everything. I always have grandiose hopes that I'm going to get a lot done, more than I ever do. But I didn't think of 6 things, but I have a couple things to show you that I've been going around my house looking for items and then finding little treasures. I shouldn't shop yarn shops or craft stores. I should come home and go through all of my chests and bins and find the things that I, sort of put to the wayside, and you forget that you even own them. I don't know if that happens to any of you. I would love to hear about it if it does, because I don't want to feel like I'm the only, a-hole that starts a gazillion things and doesn't finish them, because it makes me feel like I'm being stupid, and I'm not normally stupid. But anyway, the whip that has been getting almost all of my attention. It's the only thing I worked on in the airport. And it's the only thing that I've been working on since I've gotten home, is the Joji Locatelli One Love Mystery Cal. It's a shawl with lace and garter. Do I have this? Nope, I have it backwards. Sorry. I will try to spread that out. I am on clue 3, and I am 1 garter ridge away from getting to the next lace paddle. There's only 4 clues, and I think the 4th one came out this morning. So I want to finish. This is sort of, turned into alpha project, because you post your progress on Instagram and no one cares in 3 weeks that I'm still on clue 3. So I am going to work on, getting this thing, and it's lovely. I am using Ritual dyes in the colorway Juniper Berry. And I had originally bought this to make socks, which I've never made socks, and working on the gnome small circumference, I'm not sure I'm ever going to make a sock, because I really didn't really like that small circumference. But here's the lace pattern, pulled open a little bit. This is a nice, easy shawl, so it's why it's been getting, other than the time constraints, you have a band of garter where you're just increasing, and it's pretty rhythmic as far as, the pattern going on. And even the laced panels are 4 to 6 or 8 rows. They're not, every week has been doable. If you're not me that starts a gazillion things, it should have been easy to keep up with this, and I have fallen behind. I love this yarn, although with all the garter, I'm not sure I'm giving this yarn as much showcase as the little specks that are very small and, sort of elegant, and I'm hiding them in garter ridges. So I love it, but I think this yarn could have been shown off a little bit nicer and maybe a stockinette thing, but I love it. I can't wait to wear it. I've been spending so much of my time in Florida, and this is a nice lightweight shawl that you can, put around your neck, and you won't feel like you're suffocating. Sorry about that noise. I don't have my little microphones that I had bought, so I am doing this off my camera. So hopefully the sound won't be too bad. Also, I have windows open and a few lights on, so hopefully the colors aren't going to pick up in a weird way, because I have incandescent light bulbs on. But that is the whip that is getting my #1 play. Sort of out of order. For finished goods, the one thing I wanted to show you, because I've been sleeping with it at night, is my Maxine water bottle. I made one for my daughter and one for myself. I don't remember all of the colors, but I had gone to 4 Pearls, which sells Emma's yarn, and they have a whole wall of minis, so that's where we got these. My daughter has the same colors for the color work in different orders, like where, one of them, I have dark purple. I think hers maybe had the light purple, so that I was managing. I didn't want to run out of the color midway. This white, it's got little speckles, and it's called Gatsby. That one I do remember. My daughter's is bright yellow. I will, if I have a picture of it, which I think I do, I will put in a picture of it. Hers was called Yellow Submarine. Hers is bright, sunshiny yellow. This is a beautiful pattern. I've never done color work before, so it came out really nice. And both of them, I had made my daughter's first and mine second, but both of them, the color work looked pretty good. You do this Jenny's cast on and make this beautiful, seamless, basically, if I remember correctly, a cast on, and then you sort of split the stitches, every other one going to a different needle, and it ends up you know, just seamless as far as one went this way and one went that way. And then you work in the round, around, around, around until you're really in the round and can just, and then there's decreases at like the shoulders of the thing. And it wears a turtleneck. I put extra, yeah, I changed my color just for the last few rows because I just wanted a little extra zing in mine. The pattern didn't call for that color. But I had never used a hot water bottle. I didn't know they were so cozy. I don't know if it's just a British, UK, Irish thing where they use these a lot. Nobody I know in America, you know, ever was like, oh, I have to go get my hot water bottle. None of my roommates in college ever used them, so, but I fill mine up with just tap water. I run the tap until it's nice and warm and then fill it up. I don't, you know, put on a kettle to fill mine. And then you just, you know, I keep it alongside of me, you know, sort of maybe around here because I sleep on my side, not too much information, but, and it's just so warm and cozy. I am going to make one of these for my son's girlfriend. She is a big reader, and I think in their household, my son tends to run hot and she tends to run cold. So if she's reading, I know she reads a lot, to just have this in her lap or alongside of her is, it'll be nice and cozy and warm for her. So I bought a hot water bottle for her, and I bought the colors already. Her birthday is in March, so I'm not sure she's going to get it for Christmas because I've actually bought her something else. And she'll definitely get it by her birthday if she doesn't get it for Christmas. I had ordered these cute little, not a nightlight, but a little ghost that sits on the edge of a shelf reading a book and it lights up. And they didn't come. I ordered them months ago, and I got home and they're here. So she definitely has a present here. And there's no big hurry that I have to finish that for Christmas because she'll get it for her birthday. While it's still cold in Connecticut in March, it's still cold. My other finished item is a scarf that I made, probably it was before COVID, when I didn't knit a lot. And this took me literally months to finish. It was on straight needles, size 7 needles, wooden needles that I had bought when I bought the yarn, and they're cute little needles. One of them has a penguin on the end and the other one has an igloo, like made out of that resiny clay. Oops, I buried the book. I bought a book of scarves. This was before I'd ever try anything with shaping. So I'm making this, or I made this one that's called Sea Cucumbers. And it's this book called Knitted Scarves by Make It Martingale, must be the publisher, and Sheryl, I'm not sure if that's Thies or Thies. Without the H, it would just be Thies, so I'm not sure how to pronounce the name. And it is made from, I don't have the ball bands for the yarn, but it was alpaca, that much I remember, but if there is a wool alpaca blend, it could be that. In this rich autumnal orangey with, you know, shades of lighter orange and darker orange. Orange isn't normally my color, but I do really love that burnt orange color. This pattern says it called for 4 skeins, and so yeah, I definitely would have bought the 4 skeins. I had a little left over, but I think I was, you know, really going to the end. I'm going to make as many repeats as I could. So whatever's left is not enough to make this repeat, and the repeat is 8 rows to make the little cucumber design that's in there. I don't wear this very often, even when, you know, before I was a big knitter. I was proud that I made it because it's lovely, but alpaca is so drapey that when I put it on, which I will do, it's just, these garter edges want to fold in, that I don't love about it, and it's so drapey it tends to want to roll up. So I'm just going to put on over what I already have on. I made it really long, so I can roll it around a couple times. Maybe tighten it up. Maybe I have it too, you know, so I can zhuzh it up, but it wants to roll up. It doesn't want to show off its nice cucumber design there. So I don't know if I embrace the roll and just let it be, you know, if I do this, but I think at time it would end up, because it really does want to roll up. So I'm thinking of frogging this. Not today or anything. I like the yarn so much, but I have yarn in skein, so I don't need to reclaim yarn to keep going with anything. But I am thinking of frogging it and making something, you know, that's wider, that even if it rolls a little, it won't roll up into such a, you know, 2-inch cylinder the way it's trying to do. But anyway, I love the yarn. The pattern was nice, and it does call for alpaca. So even in the picture, which I've closed the book up now, the way they show it, it is sort of bunching up, and, you know, like they had all the time in the world to pose that. But you could tell it's still a very soft, drapey kind of fabric. When I was in Scotland, I had bought a scarf ring so I could maybe do something with a ring, like even if it was just here, and then hold that so it wouldn't be falling around so much. We'll see. I really do like it. And this was finished years ago. Before I was mostly a crocheter and a needle pointer, or stitcher. But I made this and I really do like it. So let me know if you think I should reclaim the yarn from this scarf, try to style it in a way that I'm not capable of at this second, while I'm trying to do this without making any noise, without messing up my hair any more than it always is anyway. But that's too nice a yarn to sit. It sits like a museum piece in this little box with a lid on it. You know? So you know, you try to make what you can and use what you can. So that is not being used at the moment. All right, I have the Riptide Scarfette, which again, you know, it's not that I don't like it, it just keeps getting pushed away, you know, because something else is. But this is where I was last time. I made this much progress. So it's getting longer, you know, starting to be, you know, a scarfette, but it still has a long way to go. I'm making this out of 100% cashmere that I had on hand. So this whip and one other is more of a stash dive kind of whip. Sorry about the noise. I have my MusiKAL by Stephen West, and I'm still on clue 1. I am just, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am just about to start the 6th one of these things. I have to finish this welt, and then the 6th one goes in this area. And I'm trying to make progress on it, you know, and not forget about it, because I definitely want this. And I mean, I'm anxious to get to the other steps, which are not as ribbly as these welts, which I've talked about before, and I'm not going to keep saying that I don't like the change in texture for myself. My other whip that is a knit along is, or a make along, because it's crochet and knit. So let me flatten it out. I've had it stuffed into a bag. It's, you know, 2 or 3 times bigger than it was. It still is a long way to go. I think I have to crochet till I'm at 238 stitches across, you know, for both sides, and I am only at like 119. So this is about halfway to where it needs to go as far as row count, but then in size it'll get much bigger, because, you know, the first rows were only a couple of stitches, and then it moves to knitting. So after I get this crocheted triangle done, it moves to knitting, and then you knit. There's an eyelet row that's very thin, and then 3 garter stitch rows. So I am going to make my garter stitch rows out of this 2 of these and 1 of these. So this is Emma's Basically Beautiful Halves, and it's Lilac You a Lot, this lavender color. Mitchell's Creation is this gorgeous speckled, you know, stripy yarn. So hopefully this will knit up in a way where I don't get weird pooling or anything. We'll have to, you know, assess as we go along that this gorgeous yarn, I don't want it to end up looking wrong. And then the eyelet rows, I ordered these two. They came in right before I left. So they're a pop of color, and I want it to match this. So I think this one is going to be the one. This one's a little bit more tonal and not quite as bright. And this area right here really does show like a really bright pink. So I think this one is the one that's going to get into the shawl, and this one is going to go into stash, which I normally don't buy yarn that goes into stash. And this one is called Shut the Front Door, this pink one. The other one is called Barbie Girl. I think somebody might be home. I can hear somebody at my door. I'm back. I'm sorry. My ex-husband just got home, so he is taking a shower. I'm going to try and keep my voice down. He plays music, so if he does and it gets too loud, I will have to stop filming. I wanted to show you I'm going to take these off because I can't see. My glasses are only for far away, so if I'm looking at something close, I can't see it. And these are old glasses that are small, and I can look under them while I'm knitting. And they're tinted, so I don't wear them a lot other than when I'm knitting. But anyway, I want to show you my advents that I got. I have two advents. One from Skein in the Stitch. Let's see, Jessica Clement is the artist or the dyer behind Skein in the Stitch. This is an Avonlea, Anne of Avonlea advent. So if somebody hasn't unboxed theirs and wants to be surprised on day one, look away. But you get a little opening to open every day. There's a beautiful motif of Anne and Diana, if you're familiar with the Lucy Maud Montgomery books. There were two cards included in here. One of them, they're having a read along, so that will be awfully fun. I'm definitely going to have to ferret out my Anne of Green Gables collections. I definitely have them. I tend to, if I'm never going to read a book again, give it away, but I definitely have kept those, so I'll have to find them. But because I read those 20 years ago. The other one I won't turn around because it has got a coupon code for the Mima Makes Crochet Along pattern, which they did in conjunction with each other. So I am definitely making that as the pattern that I'm going to use for my advent. I am hoping that the way that she writes the pattern is that I can pull out a skein every day and get to work and not have to, it's a quilt inspired pattern, and they've only released a black and white photo, but you could tell there's different colors in most of the squares. So I'm hoping that, you know, I can start day one on day one and move to day two. I might not finish day one square until day 3, depending on how the colors go, but I'm hoping I don't have to wait till day 10 to, you know, if like day 1 is supposed to be at the end of the square and not the middle of the square. Like I just want to, I want to knit every day or crochet every day using the yarn that comes out that day. So I'm hoping that that is going to be the case with this advent. My other advent is from Cami Jo Knits, Camilla, and it came in this box with snowflakes on it, and this is a Little Women themed, specifically the movie of Little Women. So I think all of her color choices will have been themed from, I think it's a Winona Ryder movie, I'm not exactly sure. There's a little thank you card, and then she does give you a color inspiration board. I'm not going to show it in case other people don't want to see it. Also, I don't want to see it. I think I'm going to put Post-it notes over this. What I did with my Advent last year is they were, you know, my Advent last year was from Indian Tangled and had 4 different dyers and 6, it was either 4 dyers and 6 colors or 6 dyers and 4 colors from each dyer. And I would try to, you know, if like it said camellia, I would try to be like, oh, I think it's going to be this color. I was wrong so many times. You know, when it said stone, I pretty much knew gray was going to be the color, but other ones I got them wrong. So I'm going to look at her inspiration quote, or, you know, scene from the movie, and see what I think the colors will be. And I'll probably undoubtedly be wrong. What she has done is each one is in a little bag. I'm going to cover up the inspiration naming, and then this one is December 10th. So I'm going to open each one as it comes. I'll read the thing, try to predict what color I think it'll be. I'll be wrong. I'll open it and be surprised. For the Cami Jo Knits, the Little Women, I'm going to make the Lifesaver sweater. It's a cardigan. And it's, sorry, I just want to close this and just stop making so much noise with it. It has very thin stripes on a gray background in the pattern photo. I'm going to do, I have to do a little work as far as mapping out how many rows the whole sweater will be and how many rows I can get out of a 20-gram mini that will go around the thickest part of it. So I think the thickest part of it will be where it's a V-neck, so where it closes the V and it's on the arms. That's where I'll need the most of any one in particular yarn. So I'm going to, you know, do my best to plot out what that looks like, and then adjust accordingly. So I bought the natural undyed yarn. So if, say, I can do 10 rows or 4 rows or 6 rows, whatever it ends up being of the color, I'll have to adjust the white rows in between so that I get a garment the length that I want. I don't like a cropped item, but I don't want to wear a duster or a maxi cardigan either. So I'm going to do my best to, you know, get one that hits me just under the hips or, you know, just under the butt, and use up as much of the yarn as I can on the widest part. And then, you know, the areas up here or the areas that maybe are beyond the sleeves or at the cuff of the sleeves will use less. So I'm going to try to optimize my yarn as best I can. Hopefully I won't make any mistakes, because I'll definitely not get to the, you know, the widest part here and then be like, oh, I have, you know, I've been doing 9 rows and I can only do 8, you know. So I'll just have to only do 8, and then from there only have 8 row stripes, because I'm not going to take it out to the shoulders again. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. I'm going to do my best to keep up. I could definitely keep up with the crochet. Crochet is fast, each square. I made a Mima Makes blanket last year and I was able to keep up. The knitting one is where I'm going to fall behind. I'll probably fall behind starting on day 1, because I'm going to do the color and the white. So I have up to 40 grams of yarn to use. So in the beginning, when you're doing the shoulders, I'll definitely be able to keep up. But when you get to the wider areas and the sleeves going at the same time, I'll definitely fall behind. But that is my plan. The other thing I was going to show you is I've often said I was a past stitcher more than a knitter. So I found, while I was looking for a pattern book that I can't find, I found some of my old makes that I never did anything with. So I am thinking, and this in the past would have made me, you know, clutch my pearls, but I am thinking of making some of these, not this one in particular, but into project bags. You know, so I had bought some project bags that are just plain natural canvas, so I can take these. This one will be too wide, I'm certain, but take them, hem up the sides, and applique them onto that, so all the structural and the inside will be already done. It's just I would be embellishing the outside of it. So this one I think is I'd have to find a different canvas bag if I was going to use this one. But other than in springtime, this is just more pastel than is my color theme in my home. So if I did frame this, I would really put it out at springtime and then take it down. So I don't know, you know, I'll hold it a little closer so you could see the stitches. My mom needle pointed as well, and she did hers on a wooden frame, which I find fussy because you're constantly, you know, bringing it back and forth around. So I do mine naturally, but then mine come out all rumpled and off center. So I have to put it on those same kind of frames and wet mine and pull it so it's back to square. But that is a needlepoint one, and I know I have one that is brown and green and a heart-shaped florally heart. So like a sort of like a heart-shaped wreath with flowers in it. And I think that one would look nice as a project bag. This one as well. This one's counted cross stitch, and it was made to be a pillow. It came with a rather cheap piece of fabric that was supposed to be the backing. You know, and it's got a lot of open space, which I don't normally like in my needlepoint, or especially needlepoint or counted cross stitch. I will usually fill in the background, but this one sort of lent itself to having negative, you know, coloring and space there. So I might make this one into a project bag. This one is a Christmas one. So it's a nativity scene, but the faces are rather childlike. So I might frame this, or I'm gonna make it into a pillow because it'll get all dirty, but might make something or try to utilize this for my grandchildren. Maybe frame it and then we can hang it somewhere at my daughter's house. We don't put holes in her walls though, because they're a weird sort of, not stucco, but a relief kind of finish, and she definitely doesn't want to put holes in them. So I'm not sure where that will go. This one, I think I didn't unroll it, is my mother's. Nope, this is me. This is like not sure if it's Parisian or just any French town, but it's like a wine bistro cafe, outdoor cafe kind of scene. Unroll it all the way. I'm looking at it from the back. My backs tend to be very neat. I don't know that this would lend it. I think I'm going to frame this one and put it in my own kitchen. I have a painting from an artist that I really like, that is wine glasses and wine bottles and grapes and that kind of thing. So I think I'm going to frame this and put it next to it. The one that I have is like a collage of 3 smaller paintings, a bigger one and 2 little ones. So I think that wine theme will definitely go along with that. I will take a picture of the picture that is currently hanging in my kitchen, and you can tell me whether you think it'll match. And my last one I found while I was looking for this thing, and I found it in a tote bag with quilt fabrics that I was going to make a quilt for my granddaughters and never did it. This is my daughter's Christmas stocking. She was born in January, so she was 11 months old by her first Christmas, so I had, you know, the whole time to work on it. Here it is, with Santa and a bunch of toys. I had pulled this out because I want to trace the pattern. Even though this was an artist design, I think since I'm making it for myself, again, I'm free to, I bought it once, I can make another one. I think I'm going to try and make this and maybe sub out some of the, you know, definitely the colors and maybe the toys, and make 3 more of these for my grandchildren. So we'll see. Like this elephant, I could maybe turn into something else. You know, I'm not a good artist as far as drawing, but I should be able to. There's really just presents, the elephant, and a teddy bear. So there's not a lot of drawing to do other than the Santa. So I think I'm going to trace that. That's why this one isn't packed away with my other Christmas things, because I was going to try to copy that motif to make something for my grandchildren. And I'm glad I found it, because I would have opened up all my Christmas stuff and been, where is Caitlin's stocking? You know, we all have needlepoint stockings where my mother made mine. I made my ex-husband. So we will definitely have to, you know, get some for my grandchildren. And their girls are going to be, they're 3 now. So they've got 3 Christmases without one. With that, I will keep you on my heart of stitches. Thank you. Bye.